Good afternoon to all of you. It's just now 2 o'clock, so we're going to begin. My name is Patty Lynch, and on behalf of my father, Pat, and the entire Lynch family, I want to welcome all of you. And on behalf of the Quinn family, I want to thank you so much for being with them here at a very difficult time. I know that the outpouring of support means the world to them. Today's services are not going to be overly formal. I don't think anyone's going to preach, but we are going to give people the opportunity, if you so choose, to share a story or a memory. No one's obligated, but everyone's encouraged. Because of the size of the crowd, I might recommend a couple minutes, not 20 or 30, just as a courtesy to one another. But Matt's Aunt Sarah is going to read his obituary, which was beautifully prepared. So she's going to read that, and then when she's done, organically, naturally, you can come up as you see fit. And if there's little pauses between speakers, that's perfectly fine. But everyone will have the opportunity to share a memory or a thought. And then I'll conclude the service and have some details about the reception following today's service. Okay? Thank you all for your kind attention.
Good afternoon. As you know, I'm Matt's Aunt Sarah. And I know most of you have probably read the obituary, but we are going to read it again because Matt lived a life that deserves to be highly recognized, and it's in the obituary. So Matt was 33, survived by his mother, my sister Martha, Quinn, Tom Bonds' father Don, and his brother Michael, my nephew, and Michael's wife Mary, and their beautiful daughter Abigail, whom Matt loved, and has a beautiful picture. We have a beautiful picture of Matt holding Abigail right after she was born. Matt was incredibly talented, an accomplished young man. He lived a life devoted to serving others. As a child, he was always busy designing building structures and toys, inventing games, and writing newspapers. For his 7th birthday, he asked for orange construction cones and a roll of caution tape, which he used, by the way. For his 9th birthday, he wanted a post hole digger and cement to fix the backyard fence, which was originally built by our brother Stephen many years ago, and he did. And at 10, he built the gate on the fence that is still functioning today. And at 13, he got a Sawzall. And we were just talking about how my mother, his grandmother, used to take the girls and Michael to Toys R Us to pick out gifts. Matthew always wanted to go to Home Depot. Matt spent the summer after 7th grade writing, directing, and filming a movie which included all the neighborhood kids as actors. And he subsequently became an expert photographer and videographer, which is an example of things he did throughout his life. He would show interest in something, and then he would later become an expert at it. He did so much. He graduated from Shrine High School in Royal Oak and Lake Superior State University. He had a double major in criminal justice and fire science. And during high school, he became a national ski patroller, and he began the coursework to become an EMT. He was also an accomplished diver, which he worked at. After high school, when he went to Lake Superior, he went up north and just developed a love for the outdoors in northern Michigan, and he lived up there for many, many years and loved being up there. He loved the outdoors and hunting, and especially fishing. He spent many happy weeks fishing in the Canadian wilderness with, I'm sure, some guys who are here that we want to thank you for spending so much time with him. In 2012, Matt became a ski patroller at Boyne Highlands and went on to become the head of the ski patrol there. In 2018, he was awarded both the Gold Merit Star from the National Ski Patrol System and the National Outstanding Paid Patroller Award Central Division. This is just an example of the life Matt lived. Whatever he did it to the utmost. While employed at Boyne Highlands, he completed the requirements to earn his journeyman electrician card. So he was always doing something to further his things in life. One summer, he also ran the equestrian program at Boyne Highlands, which I just found out about this past week. And I was like, the equestrian program? Wait a minute, he never rode horses. He hadn't ridden horses, but he learned how. well, and then become an expert so that he was teaching it at Boyne Island. And he went on to own several horses, which is also something I just found about it this week. So there's always something we were learning about Matthew Quinn, no matter what. So he spent other summers working for a landscaper, cutting down trees and trimming trees, and working on a dairy farm, which also I didn't know about, but we learned he worked on a dairy farm milking cows. While still at Boyne Highlands, he taught yearly classes in the outdoor emergency medicine in partnership with the medical school at Michigan State. And he continued his education and became a dedicated paramedic, helping countless others in crisis, even delivering several babies. And I know Martha told me one of them named their baby after Matthew. When he was 25, he became the Director of Safety and Security at Boyne Highlands, and he remained in that position for several years. Matt was also a volunteer firefighter for the city of Harbor Springs. In his early 20s, he started his Quinn's Outdoor Services business. One more thing to add to his long list of just things he was dedicated to: building decks and retaining walls. He became a licensed builder and expanded his business to include renovations and multiple specialty projects, developing an expertise in a number of areas. And I know that Matt has helped many people build things over the years, and he helped my daughter in her new house build a fence, which is absolutely beautiful. He painted her house for her. My other daughter, he helped her in her house when she was redoing it. So he would really, literally do anything for anybody. As an understatement, Matthew was kind-hearted, intelligent, good-natured, generous, and loving. Above all, he valued being helpful to others, was always eager to offer his assistance to friends and strangers. In kindergarten, he won the award for great kindness, and he deserved it. He demonstrated those principles throughout his life. Matt made friends easily, as all of you here know. He maintained many close friendships over the state throughout his life and all over the state. He especially cherished all the many summers spent in Hillman, Michigan on Lake Avalon. Matt loved riding motorcycles, which is also something I didn't know about until this week, and was a member of the Shadow Riders Motorcycle Club. He looked forward to the annual gatherings where he was both a participant and the on-site paramedic. This led, believe it or not, to involvement in getting a position as a advisor, I guess, avid motorcycle rider advisor for a yet-to-be-released movie in which he is also in as an actor and had a speaking role in this movie, so we're looking forward to that. Matt loved animals. He had many rescue dogs over the years, and he really loved those dogs. Finding his last one, and we remember this because it was the night before my daughter's engagement party, he went out for pizza one night and came home with his dog buddy, which it actually happened. This is not an overstatement. He was at the pizza place and ran into somebody who was getting rid of a dog apparently, and Matt decided he would take it, and that was just how he was. He just was so loving and just willing to give a home to the rescue dogs. Matt was amazingly capable and competent person. He would do anything for anybody without ever expecting anything in return. He positively impacted the lives of everyone who knew him. Sorry. He loved his family and friends and was very deeply loved. He always presented as friendly and competent, but he kept his emotions very close and private, managing the pain and tribulations of life that inevitably delivers to himself and never sharing the burdens he carried. So be free of pain now, our beloved Matthew, and rest in peace.
Thank you all for being here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dina Geisbers-Robert, Matt's cousin. I have 4 younger sisters, so growing up, Matt and Michael were always the brothers we never had. I don't have a lot of childhood memories that don't include Matt. We grew up together, swimming at Aunt Martha's in the summer, skiing together up north in the winter, dancing at the Clausen Steakhouse, and Matt and I would always split the brownie sundae every time we went out to dinner with the family. We have shared countless secrets with each other over the years, and I trusted him implicitly. I moved away after college, so in our adult years, I didn't get to see Matt very often until this past year, when he did a lot of work on our house. From spring until fall last year, I saw Matt weekly, if not daily. We were able to catch up on life, share secrets, and I was able to see him in his element, working with his hands and mentoring his younger team. I will forever cherish the time I had with him this past year. Matt was gentle, kind, sweet, thoughtful, hardworking, a mentor and friend to those who worked for him, a caregiver, not a father by blood but by heart, and one of my most trusted confidants. I am sure there are many secrets he was trusted with that he's taking to the grave. Brownie Sundays will never be the same, and my son's middle name will always be cherished. You will be missed, dear Matthew. I know you're resting peacefully now. I have one story of Matthew, probably my last story with him. Like I said, he did a lot of work on our house the past year, and in the summer I was pregnant and nobody besides my husband knew. But he was over at our house every day, and I just said, I can't even pretend to be happy because I'm so nauseous. And so I told him, I trusted him with a lot over the years, and so I told him, and he was just so sweet every day showing up and, how are you doing? Can I bring you some Zofran? So we hadn't yet told the family. I was maybe only 8 weeks around the 4th of July, and Aunt Martha has a 4th of July party every year, and so we were over there, and I'm pretending to be happy in the beating sun, and I was trying to throw Aunt Martha off the scent because I knew she was looking at me. And I was pretending to pour some gin, and she was just talking, so I had to actually pour the gin. And so I'm carrying it around like I'm drinking it, and she was like, oh honey, are you gonna drink your gin and water? And I was like, oh God. And Matt's sitting across from me, and he goes, actually, I'd really like that, I'll take it. And he took it from me, and he sipped on it, and then the next day he was texting me, he's like, so are we putting the sod in the backyard? By the way, gin and water is gross. Thank you so much, you're the best. But, he will be very missed. Love you, Matthew.
Well, anyone's welcome. We got one coming up.
I could not tell some stories about Matt as a small child. Matt was part of a foursome of guys at Our Lady Queen of Martyrs School. Charlie Capalla, David Aboud, my son Tim, and then of course Matt. And Matt was just as thick as thieves with all 4 of them, all the different things that they would concoct as, whether it was writing stories and plays, figuring out football on the playground at Our Lady Queen of Martyrs, just doing all kinds of crazy things, and they were so thick. They were so thick with each other. And of course, in high school, they kind of split in different places. But I have to tell, and I will tell you that my son, Tim, had the birthday the day before Matt. So they were always, really kind of brothers in that way. But one really cute story is that Matt had a tortoise named John. I know it. Yeah, I know, Martha. Well, John unfortunately lived a much briefer life, but Otto lived 20 plus years. And I would always think about, long after Tim grew up and moved out of the house, I used to look at Otto and I used to say, well, your brother John isn't here, but And it was just such a sweet memory, but Matt spent so many times playing with the boys at my house. And the other thing about Matt was that, you know, he was very official about things. If he came over to my house, he'd say, Mrs. Aistioli, I noticed this, or I saw this. And he was just that way. And I just adored him. And he is so much a part of my son's growing up. And there's even a picture that my son and I were saying to ourselves, is that kindergarten or first grade graduation? But he's in the photo, and he's got his graduation hat. So Matt, rest in peace. You are always going to be a part of my family's life history, and certainly my son's.
Hello, my name is Kathy, and I am a former teacher at Shrine Catholic High School, coach, and I knew him in this way. If you look at the picture of him, this is the Matt that I knew. And he helped me so many ways in school. I think sometimes he hung out outside my classroom door because he knew I needed something. He knew it before I did. Because how did you think maybe you should fix that, or do you need any help moving that? And he would just come out of nowhere, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Never really had to ask him, but although if I did ask him, I knew he would always say yes. And this picture is the only man I knew. And he also helped my son in 2 ways, very importantly. One time, it was field day at school, and their job was to deliver a ping pong table back to where it came from. As young people do, they don't have very good ideas about doing stuff like that. So they put it in the back of a pickup truck with 2 kids in the back and, of course, somebody driving. And they tried to get onto 13 Mile like they normally do from the parking lot, which was very fast. So the ping pong table goes flying, and my son, trying to catch it and do whatever he needed to do, hit his head. And I didn't know about this at all because I was at practice waiting for him to show up. And I'm calling him, he's not answering, I'm getting worried, he's never late. And then who do I get a call from? Matt. And I'm thinking, Matt, what's going on? He's like, well, just want to let you know that John's okay. I'm like, I know, but he needs to get to practice, so what's going on? He goes, well, did you hear what I said? What do you mean? John's okay. I'm like, all right, what's going on? He goes, well, he's in the emergency room. And I'm thinking, what are you doing in the emergency room? But he's probably, there to learn something. And he happened to come across John being there. And he says, well, he hit his head, he needs stitches, but he's okay. Really, he's okay, he's fine. So don't worry about him. I'll get him back to you where he needs to go. And I'm thinking, not only does he move my box, he's taking care of my son. And I have to say, I was so comforted by his confidence and his presentation that I went on to practice thinking, Matt's got it under control. So when I heard about this, it was very sad. And I can't tell you how sad my son is. He's not here as well. So God bless your family. God bless Matt.
My name's Keegan. I've gotten the opportunity to know Matt for 10 years, and probably the funniest person I've ever met. That dude was fearless. He would do anything. I remember one time we were salmon fishing, and it's late at night. He forgot his waders, and it's probably like 35 degrees. He says, oh, I'm still going to go fishing. So he stripped all the way down to his underwear, and he walked into that river with 50 people around us, and he's sitting there fishing. I stayed my distance, make sure nobody knew I was with them. Yeah, he was fearless. We'd go to the bar, and he wouldn't have to be drunk to get up on the table and start dancing. A good song comes on, oh, he'll get going, but he was a great guy. He showed me so many good memories. First time ever riding a horse was with him. I think I did better. We were riding the horses, and he couldn't get his horse to go. It kept turning around and trying to walk back home. And I have a picture of him standing staring at the horse, and the horse is sideways in the trail staring at him.
Is that when you walked 3 miles out?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
You want me to tell
He
you
got,
about that?
he got to ride it back because it wanted to go back, but he was so funny, and he was smart. I don't know how much he knew. I mean, being a paramedic and ski patrol and security and the construction. I've done roofs for him. I remember going to do a barn, and we were running wires, and he was doing a whole electrical panel. I'm like, where the heck do you learn all this? Like, YouTube doesn't teach that much. And we rode motorcycles together, and every time he gets on Facebook, he's sending me, oh, look what I found on Marketplace. Oh, look at this bike. Look at this horse. Look at this truck. Look at this plow. He loved that Facebook. But even though he might have not said it, he loved people too. Everything he did revolved around helping people. I don't think I've ever heard that dude say no before. I don't think that was in his vocabulary. And I'm gonna miss him a lot. He was a great guy, and can't wait till I can see him again. I'll miss you, man.
Hi, I wasn't planning on speaking today, and I'm terrified of public speaking, so I'm sorry if I'm just rambling. I'm Matt's other cousin, Dina's sister, Remy Geisbers. Matt and I were best friends growing up. We spent many weekends having sleepovers at Aunt Martha's. In fact, when we were little, I would sleep in my mom's old room in their house, and every morning I would say, Matthew, and he'd bring a little step stool over and put it by the gate and help me over the gate. We'd watch cartoons downstairs. Everything Matthew wanted to be when he grew up, I wanted to do it too. You know, before parties, he'd be, directing traffic outside, and all the cars coming in the driveway directing traffic, and I'd be out there being his little assistant. And he wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a firefighter. He wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to be a police officer. And I'm a police officer today, and he's a firefighter. And he was there for all the times we all needed him, always. We went up to Boyne Highlands, my husband and I, to go skiing, and I had him up for those free tickets. And he got them for us, and on top of that, he got us like a room too, which was not expected. He helped all those around him for, a good time, for, anything that they needed. One thing that we also used to do at, I know Aunt Martha and Matthew used to have the John and Allison cook show. So he was John, she was Allison. They'd be in the kitchen, and they'd be making, which he had the rope across the kitchen, so the audience was on the other side, talking to the audience, and so they had that, but we'd be at our grandma's house, and we'd be running a restaurant for grandma, and, I was the rude waitress, and he was the cook in the back, and I always just wanted to be hanging out with him, and having a good time with him. And he was, when he discovered up north, it was hard to get him home for the holidays. In the last 2-3 years, he started showing up to holidays. We're like, what are you doing here? But it was amazing, and he came and he met my son at our house, and he was, playing with them and having a good time with them, and he just wanted to make sure everyone around him had an amazing time. And if they were down on their luck, he wanted to help them be able to have a good time, So, I'm going to miss him a lot. such an amazing person. And I'm so glad that you all came today. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Deborah Woodcock, and Matt was my friend. And I am a member of National Ski Patrol, and I'm a patroller at the Highlands and have been for 21 years. So I know Matt and knew him very well because we responded to a lot of incidents together. And Matt was incredible with medical. He would be the first to jump in and just, he knew everything to do, and we were all trained the same and we all followed the same lead, but Matt was always the first to jump in. He had an incredible gift for children. He loved little kids. When a little kid would come into the medical room, Matt would talk to them on their level and really, really listen to what they had to say. He was gifted with small children. He also, another friend of ours who was on ski patrol with us, Kim, he had a bond with her son Andrew, and one day actually took the fire truck over to their house because Andrew loved fire trucks. So he was very thoughtful, very kind. He was always a laugh a minute. And he got one of his motorcycles from another friend of ours who is a retired patroller, Mike Booth. Mike sold him one of his bikes because Matt had an interest in riding motorcycles. But he was incredibly gifted, EMT, always the first to fly out of his chair when anything needed to be done. You could always count on Matt, and we all loved him. And we're going to miss him. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Skyler. I'm one of Matt's friends, and this story about ski patrol actually goes pretty good. Back in 2013, when he became a ski patroller, I broke my shoulder on a high school ski trip, and he was the guy who rescued me and took me down the mountain and kind of patched me up, made fun of me the whole way through. He took care of me, and we became friends ever since. And so every time we were on a ski trip with my family or whatever, I would bother him, and I got his number, and I'd say, "Hey man, where you at? We're going skiing or hanging out." And it's, even when I turned 21, we'd go to the bars, and he'd take me out drinking, and whoever said that story about him being sober dancing on a bar is true. So yeah, the guy helped everyone, and I'm gonna miss him, and rest his soul. So.
My name is Jonathan Meyer. I'm from Petoskey, Michigan. Matt and I became friends later in life. The words I would describe Matt are kind, capable, and sometimes overconfident. Matt and I did many projects together, and any time I had a really hard project to do, somehow I always ended up calling Matt to talk about it. And he just had a certain way of explaining it to me that it was going to take 5 minutes. And some of those projects took 5 hours, and some of those projects took 5 days. But we always got them done, because Matt had a way of empowering others to feel more confident in themselves to complete those projects. And one funny story I'd like to tell about Matt. There was a mention of how Matt loved Facebook Marketplace. I too love Facebook Marketplace. And I bought a boat hoist for my tri-tune boat a couple of years ago, because we had an opportunity to keep our boat on a dock, and my wife got too excited about it and said, "We need a boat hoist." So I bought one on Facebook Marketplace, and I needed to move it. And I wasn't sure how I was gonna do that. So I called up some of my friends that are in the dock and hoist business, and, well, it was springtime, and they were all busy. And my wife demanded it be done that weekend, which, it was Thursday. So I got into the phone and I said, well, there's only one guy I know that's gonna be able to pull this off, and that's Matt. So that's who I called, and sure enough, he said, oh, yeah, I've moved 1,000 boat hoists. No problem, we'll take care of it. I said, whew, thank goodness, because I need to get this done like tomorrow. He said, all right, we got it. So, sure enough, I don't know if you've ever seen a tri-tune boat hoist out of the water, but they're gigantic, and they're heavy. So, we looked at it together, and Matt knew another guy. He goes, I know what to do. And he called up our friend Jim Parker, and Jim showed up with his trailer that looked like it could hardly carry a jet ski. And he said, trust me, guys, I know what I'm doing. I said, well, if you're Matt's friend, okay, all right, let's see what happens, guys. Okay, let's see. And sure enough, we got that hoist up on that trailer, and we started rolling towards the property where we were going. And it dawned on me that that hoist was way too big to drive it past the side of the house.